I had a confrontation with my own family to the point where it was like feeling like they were going to disown me when I started going in the direction of UFOs. Like, my dad had people writing me letters from, because I was born in England and I have family, a lot of family in France and England and some in Australia that have migrated to Australia. It's a dead end road. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't mean anything. You're wasting your life. Like, you have to reconsider. And I remember at one point my dad saying, you know, eventually, I think it was when I brought him to the interview with Gordon Cooper. And that was several years when I was into, 5 years after the fact. He said, I did so with a very distinct sense of paternal obligation. And he died last year, and he was like, you were onto something. Don't stop. Like, he was my biggest fan before he died. And because he realized, he was a journalist himself, that this story had slipped between the cracks. People ask me all the time, well, you're that UFO guy. What do you do? Why UFOs? That's kind of weird. And a lot of times I'd go to like a cocktail party with people that know what I do, and I'd say, do me a favor and don't bring it up. I don't want to like get into some heated debate. I'm not interested. I want to enjoy myself, have a few drinks, go home, no problem, no confrontations. But I ask people all the time, I say, well, people that really put me on the spot. I said, well, let me ask you a question. If Earth was being visited, if there was tangible evidence being withheld from you, from your children, from the rest of the world, that we're not alone in the universe, would you like to know about that? And everyone says, well, yeah, that would be the most significant discovery ever of modern time. I mean, it's huge. The story's huge. It'll be huge. I've had Larry King tell me, oh my God, are you kidding me? As a reporter, it'd be the best story ever. I'd love to uncover that story. I'm convinced it's happening. So you think I can just walk away from that story? Can you just walk away from that? I think I've realized as I've gotten older and I had a very naive sense when I first embarked on this journey that I could just do a documentary and get the truth out and it would just be, end of story. But I've been slightly jaded with that. After multiple films and the National Press Club event and hours on, we've had live report. I mean, I got to pick witnesses for hour-long episodes on Larry King. Picking really good witnesses, and millions and millions and millions of people viewing the stuff. And then we do the National Press Club event, and then we did. I Know What I Saw, and I thought, wow, this. But I think it's a slow process. I mean, I asked Nick Pope, who investigated UFOs for the British government all these years, do you anticipate, any type of disclosure? And he said, well, James, I don't think it's going to be disclosure with a big D. I think it'll be disclosure with a small d. So I think it's happening slowly. You've got the British that have released a lot of documents. You've got the French have released a lot of documents. You've got other countries, Peru, Brazil. We interviewed an active general in Brazil. We have this happening in the rest of the world. There's a movement for transparency. They might not necessarily know what it is, but there's a movement for transparency. I don't necessarily think that people are gonna be jumping out of windows like they were when Orson Welles made his announcement. I think there's been a lot of adjustment. I think there's been a lot of thought. There's been a lot of films, documentaries, and I think that people would just get on with their lives. I think it would be a major revelation. We'd see the bigger picture, and people would still have to go out and make money and take out the garbage and do the dishes and all that stuff. Yeah, I think we're ready.